what really happened when Kim Taehyung finally opened up to Jungkook. At first, everything seemed completely normal. But then Taehyung said something that instantly changed the atmosphere. His voice became quieter. His expression was difficult to read. And suddenly, Jungkook stopped reacting the way everyone expected. There was a strange tension between them, something that fans watching the moment immediately noticed. Jungkook looked at Taehyung, waited for a response, and then said something nobody seemed prepared for. Was he hurt? Was he surprised? Or was there something much deeper behind his reaction? And just when it seemed Taehyung might finally explain everything, Jungkook made a small gesture that completely changed the mood. So what was really going on between them? The moment Taehyung finished speaking, the atmosphere felt different. There was no dramatic announcement, no obvious confrontation, just a few simple words that somehow seemed to carry far more emotion than they appeared to on the surface. Taehyung briefly looked toward Jungkook before looking away. That tiny movement was enough to make fans start asking questions. Why did Taehyung suddenly look nervous? Why had Jungkook become so quiet? And most importantly, why did it feel as though both of them were carefully choosing every word that came next? Fans immediately began offering different interpretations. Some believed Taehyung was simply overwhelmed by the situation. Others felt that there was something personal behind his words. Then there were fans who focused on Jungkook's expression, wondering whether he looked emotional, uncomfortable, surprised, or simply misunderstood. The speculation continued, but Taehyung did not seem interested in explaining himself. Instead, he took a breath and continued. This time, his words became more personal. He spoke about someone who had remained beside him through difficult moments, someone whose presence had become deeply familiar after years of shared experiences. He didn't explain everything directly, but the way he spoke made the atmosphere noticeably quieter. And then he mentioned Jungkook again. That was when the reactions exploded. Fans immediately began asking, why does Taehyung sound so emotional? Why does Jungkook look so serious? And what exactly changed between them? But not everyone interpreted the moment in the same way. Some fans pushed back against the growing speculation, reminding others that a deep friendship does not automatically mean there is a hidden romantic story behind every interaction. Others argued that the emotional tension was simply too noticeable to ignore, and that disagreement made the moment even more fascinating, because while thousands of people were trying to understand Taehyung's words, Jungkook remained unusually quiet. He didn't immediately smile. He didn't interrupt. He simply listened. And somehow, that silence seemed more powerful than an exaggerated reaction ever could. Eventually, Taehyung looked directly at Jungkook for several seconds. Neither of them spoke. It was the kind of silence that makes everyone watching wonder what is happening inside their minds. Then Jungkook finally responded. His voice was calm, but his expression had changed. He didn't dismiss what Taehyung had said. He didn't make a joke to break the tension. Instead, he acknowledged it. That simple response triggered another wave of reactions among fans. Some became emotional because Jungkook appeared to understand what Taehyung was trying to communicate. Others noticed that Jungkook seemed hesitant before answering. Then came the small gesture that became the center of attention. Some fans interpreted it as reassurance. Others believed it showed that Jungkook was genuinely affected by what he had heard. But another group argued that people were simply reading too much into a single moment. The debate became unavoidable. And perhaps Taehyung's reaction was even more revealing. After hearing Jungkook's response, he smiled for just a second, but it wasn't the confident smile fans might have expected. It appeared softer, almost relieved. As if he had been waiting to hear those words. That tiny expression became one of the moments fans kept replaying. Because if Taehyung's confession was emotional, Jungkook's response seemed to answer a question that had never actually been asked out loud. Suddenly, the entire situation felt different. Maybe this wasn't about a dramatic secret at all. Maybe it was simply about two people who had spent years sharing memories, pressure, difficult moments, laughter, and experiences that outsiders could never fully understand. But one question still remained. Why did Jungkook look at Taehyung that way? Immediately after responding, fans noticed the look. And once they did, the internet had only one question left. What exactly did Jungkook understand from Taehyung's words that everyone else had missed? Then came another unexpected moment. Taehyung looked down. His expression changed again. The confidence he had shown earlier seemed to disappear, almost as though he was reconsidering whether he had said too much. Jungkook noticed. He leaned slightly closer and quietly said something. Not everyone could clearly hear what he said. But Taehyung's reaction was immediate. He looked back at Jungkook and smiled. This time, it wasn't playful. It was softer. Almost emotional. That tiny exchange created another wave of reactions online. Some fans described it as incredibly genuine. Others warned against turning a private emotional interaction into a story that neither person had actually confirmed. And that distinction is important, because while fans can interpret expressions, gestures, and conversations, only the people involved truly know what they were feeling in that moment. Still, the uncertainty only made the scene more intriguing. Both Taehyung and Jungkook appeared aware that people were watching their every movement. That seemed to make them even more careful. Taehyung eventually tried to move the conversation forward, but Jungkook didn't immediately look away. He kept his eyes on Taehyung for another moment. Once again, fans began analyzing everything. Was Jungkook simply making sure Taehyung was okay? Was he trying to reassure him? Or had Taehyung's words genuinely affected him more deeply than he wanted to show? Nobody outside that moment could know for certain, and perhaps that uncertainty became the most emotional part of the entire situation. Then Jungkook smiled. Taehyung saw it and smiled back. For a brief moment, the tension disappeared. It almost seemed as though the two of them had forgotten about the thousands of eyes watching them. Fans immediately flooded social media with emotional reactions.